Hey there! Thank you so much for joining me. Today I have a new video in a collab series with Lesley Logan, who is the owner of Profitable Pilates, and she and I have teamed up to do a series of videos called The Struggle is Real. And these are all exercises that are pretty demanding exercises. They're not all crazy, some of them are pretty fundamental, but they often produce a lot of gnashing of teeth and struggle and, oh, why can't I? It seems so simple. And so today we're starting it off with my first and it's such a true story, the struggle is real, the roll up on the mat. And if you've been following me for a while, you may have heard this story, but I started doing Pilates in the year 2000, and I took a mat class as my first entree into a Pilates class. I didn't really know what Pilates was, and I'd done a lot of yoga, but you know, I figured if it had a mat and exercise, I could, I knew what to do. And so I went to a basic mat class where we were just gonna do a handful of exercises, I was later to learn. And we did the exercise called the 100, which I thought was interesting. And then the second exercise in the class was the roll up. And in my class, we just had little thin mats, padded mats on the floor. We didn't have an apparatus that had a strap or handles. And so the roll up was my first experience, and it told me a lot of things about my body that I didn't know. It told me that I had a tight back, and I really wasn't too sure what all it was telling me. I just knew that it was the second exercise in the class and I couldn't do it at all. And so part of the reason I think I stayed with Pilates for so long was that I was very stubborn, and I thought, oh my God, it's the second exercise. Why can't I do this? I'm 29 years old, I'm reasonably fit, and I wonder if that's significant that I should be able to do this exercise. And so the rest is what has happened. So this exercise, today we're gonna have such a lovely experience of the roll up because you do have a strap on the mat. But I will talk about if you're experiencing the same thing I did when you're in a mat class and you try to roll up and your legs fly up in the air, or you get stuck, or all kinds of things happen. I'll go over things you can do in a mat class if you don't have a strap. That's often fun to do too. So let's talk about the roll up. I'm gonna use a strap. I'll do something without the strap too, I promise. And I'm gonna use this pole. So the roll up starts lying down. This is the full version of the exercise. The arms reach back as far as you can keep your back anchored to the mat. And then you're gonna reach your arms to the ceiling. You're gonna pick your head up and reach forward toward your toes. And then you're gonna pull your stomach in and roll down. And just for those of you playing at home, let's do it without the strap too. So the arms come up, you roll up, you stretch forward, pull in, and roll all the way down. Okay, and there are various other versions that are like stepping stones to the exercise, which we'll go over as well. So the roll up really demands that your back be flexible, your stomach is strong, and pretty much the entire back of you is getting a first big stretch in the mat workout. You've done your warm-up of the 100, and now you're gonna stretch out over your legs, stretching all of your whole up back and body over and forward. So what to do if you can't get up? So if you have a strap, here's some stuff you can do. And this is one of our fundamental exercises. So there's not really a lot of exercises you're gonna do beforehand to prepare you for this. We will talk about little sort of breakdowns of the roll up that you can work on to perfect opening up your back, strengthening your stomach, all that kind of stuff. And let's start that right now, actually. So let's say it doesn't feel good in your back to have straight legs, and you've been doing the roll up with bent legs. So that's one thing you can do. You can just make your legs bent and roll down. You can even start the bent leg version up like this, and you can use your hands to guide you as you go down a little and return, or as you go down a lot and return. So you're kind of building that suppleness in there. You're using your hands to firm up the things that need to firm up. So that's one version. This is called sometimes the half roll down. And then you would just build into it until you could do it without your hands, until you could do it with straight legs, and eventually a pull. So the other thing that this demands, which is a little bit of a sneaky element that right at the surface, it's in there, but it's not really the full expression of that skill, so it's hard to see that it's in there. And I don't know if you're like me, but what happened to me when I did the roll-up, let's see if I can do one really bad. Let's see. So I would get to here and my legs would just lift off the mat because this is trying to help me, the thigh and the hip flexor, which were really tight and strong. And my legs would just kind of come off the mat and I couldn't, and I'd get stuck and all kinds of stuff would happen. And so what you need to work on that will help that is basically all the muscles of the bottom, which are going to extend your hip and keep your legs down on the mat. So it might be that with that information, you can press your heels into the mat, essentially kind of like grabbing onto the back of the mat with your back of your leg and your bottom, if you could use that like a grabbing thing. And just by pressing your heels in the mat, you could kind of conjure up using your bottom to do the exercise. And that's one thing you can do. If you've got a strap, you can kind of check to see that that's working by using your hands. Whoops, let's do that better. So you would curl up until you get stuck, and then you could pull your stomach in, pull with your arms so that you're essentially holding this back and making your back bend by pulling it forward while you hold your stomach in. And this is, you could call this a modification, but it is not easier in any way if you do it properly. You're really trying to exert your will to bend your body and help make the exercise happen without wrenching your back up off the mat and just sort of skipping a bunch of spots. So let's go over that again, because it's a really good one, especially if you're in a mat class or if you're teaching a mat class and there's some people that can't roll up and you want to give them a little something that they can do to help themselves in a big class. Oh, let's pretend they don't have a strap. So you would bring your arms up to the ceiling, you would curl up until you get stuck, and then at that point, you would try to press your heels in the mat, pull your stomach in, and bring yourself past the sticky spot. And then you would just continue on your way. And then likewise, if you get to here and you feel like you would crash to the mat, you can use your hands to guide you so you can place your back down with control. And really anything that's going to aid the control in the exercise so that people aren't hurling themselves off the mat or crashing back down to it, really that's what you're after. You're providing some controlled situations for them to manage the exercise. So that being said, let's talk about, so one other thing you can do in a mat class, and sometimes it's nice to do it on the neck pull, sometimes you can do it in the roll up. You could have people pair up and one person is the strap and helps the person by pulling like the strap, and the other person does the roll up, and then they switch. You could also have people put the bottoms of their feet together, so one person is here with their feet lying down doing the roll up, and then they push at each other to help roll up and down. That's kind of fun. It makes it a little bit harder because you have a live person that you're dealing with. So in a way, it's a bit of an extra challenge and it's kind of fun too. And this is the exercise that's going to help you to be able to do the teaser and eventually lots of other rolling up and down things. I'm trying to think if I forgot anything. We talked about using a strap and not using a strap, assisting yourself, and starting from sitting. Yeah, so let me know how that goes. And also the other exercises that are going to help this around the studio, that's what I wanted to mention. The rolling back exercise on the Cadillac is a wonderful place to work on the control and opening up the back. You can use that exercise to help your roll up on the mat. The push down on the Wanda chair, the elephant on the reformer, all of the exercises that share this shape of limbs straight, back round, that sort of thing, is a great help to this exercise. So I hope you found this helpful. If you have any questions, specific questions I didn't answer about the roll-up, please let me know. I will include Lesley's video about the roll-up and her struggle in the info box below. Thank you so much. Bye! Hey there, if you'd like to experience some of these tutorials and ways of looking at the exercises in person and you're in the San Diego area, please come visit me at my Friday Teacher Lab class. I have one each month, and I'll include the link to register in the box below. I'd love to see you there. I limit the space to 5 people, and so there's always a lot of time for questions and working through exercises and strategizing with other teachers and other kinds of bodies. It's nice to see the same exercise on many different people. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you, San Diego. Bye!
Let's go to the high scissors and the high bicycle. Now scoop in. So you're defying gravity with your lift. We're going to do 3 sets of scissors. And then 3 sets of the bicycle.